Hello everybody, my name is Jose Rodriguez. In a previous video, we were able to install VirtualBox in our computer system. Now, before we start working with our virtual network environment, we will show you how can you configure some of the VirtualBox features such as the default machine folder and network adapters. Whenever you create a virtual machine in VirtualBox, all the files related to this virtual machine can be stored in your computer's hard drive or even in an external hard drive. For the purpose of this video, we will use an external hard drive so we do not compromise our host storage. To define our external hard drive as a default machine folder, you just need to click on the Tools option or icon and then click on the Welcome menu, and you will have these options. You can click on Preferences and then go to the General tab, and here's where you can see the default machine folder. If you need to update this folder, you can just click on this icon and then select Other, and VirtualBox will give you the option to select whatever destination you prefer for the default machine folder. Okay, now we can just click on OK, and that's great. Okay, now remember that if you use this option, I mean using an external hard drive to store all your virtual machines data and information, you will always need to have access to your external hard drive in order to use your virtual machines. Now, for a virtual machine to be able to communicate with the host device and other external networks, we need to use network adapters. If you would like to configure them, you need to click again on the Tools icon, and this time we need to select the Network tab so we can manage all some of our network adapters. Unfortunately, VirtualBox allows you to configure only some of the network adapters by using this interface. We can configure host-only networks, NAT networks, and cloud networks. You might be asking yourself, wait, what do you mean with only NAT networks, cloud networks, and host-only networks? Are there other types of network adapters within VirtualBox? Well, the answer is yes. VirtualBox provides different types of network modes, such as NAT, NAT network, bridge adapter, and internal network. I recommend you to read and review this blog post from nakivo.com, where they explain all the different network adapters and network modes provided by VirtualBox. Here you can see a list of the network adapters provided by VirtualBox. The use of each network will depend on the type of system you would like to install. For example, we will use the empty desktop adapter for recent Windows 10 systems. Now let's take a look at the different network modes provided by VirtualBox. The first mode that we will review is the NAT mode. This mode allows us to create a virtual network where only one device can be connected to it, and the communication to external networks is allowed. The second mode is NAT network. This mode allows us to create um, a network pretty similar to the NAT mode, but it allows us to connect multiple devices to the same network, hence the term network in its name. The next mode is bridged adapter. This mode allows us to connect multiple computers to the host physical network. We can connect our virtual machines to our business or home network, for example. Similar to NAT and NAT network, communication to external networks is allowed. The last mode that we will review in this video is internal network. With this mode, we can connect multiple devices within the same network, but unlike the previous modes, communication to external networks is not possible. This creates, in other words, an isolated environment. Now, the question is, what network mode should we use to represent our virtual network environment? The answer depends on your network design. For the purpose of this video, we will need to configure two networks, pandalab.com and the internet. Pandalab.com represents a business network with 6 Windows devices and a router that can communicate with external devices. On the other hand, the Internet network contains all our virtual devices, including pandalab.com, and communication to external networks is not required. Therefore, we will use the NAT network mode to represent pandalab.com and an internal network to represent the Internet. Going back to VirtualBox, let's start by adding a NAT network adapter for pandalab.com. Let's click on the NAT network tab and then click on create, and you will get this network adapter with default values. Okay, so in order to uh, modify this based on our network design, we will just need to click on this. Okay, and we can go here to the bottom of the page and start updating this. We will use the name pandalab.com, and then we need to also insert the IP address for the network. Based on our network design, this IP should be 192.168.1.0, okay? Then slash and 24 bits that we are using to describe our network, which makes this class a C network, a class C network. We will leave the enable DHCP server option, so any device connected to this network will get an IP address and be able to communicate within the network. Now we can just click on apply to save our changes. Awesome. Now, we also need to configure our internal network, the internet. Unfortunately, we cannot use the VirtualBox interface to do this. We need to use the VBOX manage utility through the terminal or the command prompt applications. Since I am using a Mac device to record this video, I will use the terminal app. All the commands that we will use in this section should also work for Windows and Linux systems. Using the VBOX manage utility, we will use the DHCP server parameter to create the DHCP server for our internal network. Okay, so what we need to type is VBOX manage, okay, space the parameter DHCP server space add, and now we need to specify first the name of the network. So we will use the -- network equals to the name is internet, right? Space. Now we need to specify the IP address for our server. So it's going to be -- server-IP equals to 10.0.5.1, okay, space. We also need to specify the net mask for this network adapter, which means the number of bits that we will use to describe our network. Similar to pandalab.com, this internet network will have will use 24 bits. So we need to specify this using the -- net mask parameter equals to 255.255.255.0, okay? And since this we are configuring a DHCP server that will list IP addresses to any device connected to it, we need to specify the range of IP addresses that we will use. Since this is a class C network, okay, we have approximately 254 IP addresses available to describe our host devices. The first IP address is already used by the server itself. So we have available from 10.0.5.2 all the way to 10.0.5 to .254. So you can just pick any range of values um, between those two numbers or IP addresses. So let's start by defining the lower IP with dash dash lower dash IP equals to, let's say, 10, 0, 5, and 10, okay? And then we need to specify the upper IP dash dash upper dash IP equals, and let's say 10, 0, 5, I don't know, 50, okay? Remember that you need to select your own range of IP values, use IP addresses based on your network design, okay? And finally, we need to enable this DHCP server. So we will use the parameter dash dash enable, okay? And then just hit enter, okay? Now, to validate if this DHCP server was created correctly, what we can do is use the VBOX manage utility, and then the parameter list, and then DHCP servers with S, plural, okay? Just hit enter, and this is the information of the DHCP server that we just created. The IP address for the server is 10.051. The range of IP addresses available for any device connected to this network is from 10.0.5.10 all the way to 10.0.5.50. The network mask is using 24 bits to describe this network, and the server is enabled. And that's it. Now we are ready to start using this internal network when working with VirtualBox. Um, Something else that I would like to add is that if you would like to learn about other parameters that you can use with the VBOX manage utility, um, you just need to run, let me clear the screen here for you, and you can just type VBOX manage and hit enter, and it will show you all the available parameters and commands that you can use to configure um, your network adapters and VirtualBox in general. Mhm. Perfect. Thank you for watching this video.